Yeah, I think it
We
works.
can begin the
Works a
second
little
section
better.
now. We can continue again where we stopped. Thank you for your time. I think you can pick it from where you stopped before. I hope your reception is better now.
It's better. It's better. It's much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead, please.
Yeah. So I think,
Okay.
yeah, you were asking a question, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it was asking a question about the learning network environment. Like, can we come into the Mozilla environment as a community, like as a body of professionals, and then set up a learning environment for dental technologists as a profession now, and then we kind of run a learning system in the Mozilla platform. And then, of course, is it possible? Are there possibilities of getting support from other communities around the within the Mozilla Foundation to help foster a program on the platform? I guess that's the question he was asking you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. That was a question.
Okay. So there are a couple of things here. Mostly, at least the way we have seen in the last couple of years has been that these were individuals who signed up to become Mozilla club leaders, and they use the structure has been that you have Mozilla as the organization, as the parent organization, and then you have the people who are within Mozilla who run this clubs program. So these are not volunteers, but paid employees, like people who work full time on a payroll with Mozilla. And then you have regional coordinators. So regional coordinators are the volunteers who have been with the Mozilla Foundation for quite some time now, who facilitate and help club leaders secure resources like trainers or tools or in certain cases funding for their projects, etc. And then you have the club leaders, who are essentially individuals who come up to say that, you know what, I want to do this in my community, and I'd like to do it with Mozilla. So if I want to build a community of, say, dental professionals leveraging the web to do more, there is this one person who comes up saying that I want to take the ownership of this. So that is just more easier for us to communicate with that one person instead of, an entire community. It's essentially that one person is representing the community. So you have that person who can reach out to the regional coordinator if they require any resources or help. And the regional coordinator sort of acts like a middleman with the Mozilla Foundation employees, saying that this club which I'm working with requires XYZ. So can we give them XYZ, right? So that's the way the clubs program has been functioning until now. That said, so here's the thing. Last week, or I think the week before that, I've heard from the Mozilla employees that they're stopping the clubs program. So I'm not sure what the new. So they're transitioning it into a different program. So that's what I said in the beginning of the call. I'm not really sure what the new structure looks like, but hopefully we'll have something in place. What I do know is that we've had this. So this Mozilla festival that I was talking to you about, which happens in London, we've had a smaller version of MozFest in Africa, and I think that African edition was the only one in the entire world apart from the original MozFest. So MozFest usually happens in London, but this one time, I think it was in 2016 or 2015 probably, where there was a MozFest in East Africa. So I'm sure that Mozilla as a whole recognizes that there is a lot of interest and opportunity in investing in Africa, which is why we see a lot of programs come in. There are a lot of women women in tech programs happening in Africa where Mozilla employees frequently travel to. So what I can do from my side is, as soon as there is more information from Mozilla on what the club's program looks like, I can relay that to you. Alternatively, I can start a mail thread with Amira, who works with the Mozilla Foundation. So she was initially managing the Learning Networks program, but now she's doing a lot. She keeps traveling to Africa frequently for different events and Mozilla related stuff. So I'm guessing she would have much more context and idea on what the community looks like and what she can do to help you all. So I can start a mailing thread with her if that sounds good to you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That is a welcome one. Yeah. If you can sort of create an avenue for us to meet the individual, so that we can see how we can leverage the web to improve on our head in Africa. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is also another, there's also this resource that I can share with you where you can find people within Africa who are involved in Mozilla. So they would, I think they would be more than happy to come talk to you guys, and you can also like meet them in person to do certain events or just invite them for a talk, or do whatever you guys would like to. I can just maybe share the link, and then you can take it forward.
Okay, fine.
So, yeah,
fine. That's a good one. Okay, we can see that it's already shared. Okay. You've had quite a nice time with us, and but I want to know if there's any difference between club and the learning initiative. I don't know whether there's a distinction between the two, or they are one and the same thing.
So sorry, what was that again?
Okay, you talk of learning community where we have developers, we have curriculum developers, we have mentor, lecturers, and all that, and students.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is that a separate group from the learning, from the club that you talk about?
So the learning network is sort of like the you have the Mozilla Foundation right on top. Okay. Then you have the learning networks, so people who work with the employees of Mozilla, for example, Amira and Julia. So Julia is currently managing the clubs program, but with the new rollout of whatever is next, given that clubs is no longer going to be there in a couple of weeks, whatever is next is probably going to be handled by someone else. That said, Amira is still with Mozilla, so she handles a lot of projects for them, including women in tech. She's been, like I said, she's been traveling to all across the world to do events and talk to people in tech to figure out how the local community looks like. So these are employees of the Mozilla Learning Network, and then so Mozilla Learning Network is like this umbrella project, and all of these clubs and all of these small initiatives are under the learning networks. So the learning network is the whole lays on top, and these are like sub parts of this the learning network.
Okay, thank you. There was a time sometimes ago, I can't recall precisely what it is, but there was I think it's Mozilla scholarship or something like that. I wanted to fill the form for one of my young lads, but we couldn't get through with it. Can you throw more light on it? Maybe I didn't say it exactly what it is, but I remember we didn't go far with it. Can you recall if there's anything like that? Whether foundation, Mozilla scholarship or something like that? Is there anything like that within the network?
So, so yes, there are a couple of things that are there, but there are more than one thing. So it's there are more than one program it's called a fellowship. So
Fellowship.
there,
Yes.
yeah.
Fellowship. Yes.
So there are different types of fellowships at Mozilla, including the science fellowship. There is one on journalism. So essentially, after speaking with Julia last week, or a couple of weeks back, what some of the things that she told was that hopefully the way that they see the clubs program transitioning into is to become sort of like a fellowship program. Like there will be more fellowship opportunities, and in the next couple of weeks we should have more clarity on that. But for now, all of these fellowship are very project specific, so they require some level of knowledge, some level of project experience, and the time that you can dedicate towards building or towards doing the deliverables of that fellowship, right? So most of it is in that sense. It's just like the process is that they have a couple of reviewers who are these subject matter experts. If you take the journalism scholarship, for example, they will have a panel of journalists, open leaders, and people who have been with the tech journalism front, who will be reviewing your application, your fellowship application, and it's sort of like an interview process. Like you apply for a job and get a job, right? That's the same exact process for the fellowship as well. They have like multiple levels of interviews and stuff. The reviews that go through before accepting or rejecting for a fellowship.
Oh, great. I think we've really had a nice time with you, and what we'll be doing later now, we'll be sharing the video of this recording. I will send you a copy, so
Okay.
that you can have it, and it will be placed within our network, so that those who may be interested will interact with the video and be able to understand all that you have said to us so far. We really appreciate that, and we are much interested in leveraging on the web to improve our health, and we would like to come up with ideas on what we can do to actually impact Africa and impact oral health in Africa. Definitely, you'll be seeing us on the network. We appreciate your support. You have already started giving us that support, and I believe you are prepared to do more. If any of my guys might have questions against with so much that you have said so far. Dennis, Emihe, and Mr. Matayo, here is the floor for you to ask questions from Mr. Shreyas about what you have said so far.
Well, if I may add to, thank you very much, sir. If I may add to what I asked him the other time, I guess he didn't get my question clearly there. I was asking about the existing programs on the learning network too. I was asking what kind of certificate do you award those that have been trained on the platform? Like you talked about games in Brazil. You built a kind of learning environment for those that are so much interested, enthusiastic about games. Thereafter, they get trained on the Mozilla platform. Is there kind of diploma certificates you award them, or kind of is there certification you give them to show that they've gone through Mozilla training school on that?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. So Mozilla had done something similar to this. So one of the things that is common between I think with Africa and India is that the the system is designed in such a way that all your, at least if you contrast it with the US or UK, the system is designed in such a way that all your credibility depends on the number of courses that you've done and the certificates that you've gained, right? So I remember back when I was applying for a job, I had this bunch of certificates. Like anything that I would go for, any course that issues a certificate, I would just go for it. Like I don't care what the course is, I would just go and get it. Which I think is not that great a system to be in. But unfortunately, we are not in a position to change the system, right? So I remember when we were doing training sessions in colleges and schools, this is something that we told them, we conveyed back to the foundation saying that people are interested in listening to us, but for the 2 hours or 3 hours or the 4 hours that they spend with us, the college wants us to give a certificate. And how do we do that? Right? So we've had cases where there used to be like this a university running a program saying that so this link I've sent you is called the reps.mozilla.org. These are representatives of Mozilla, like Mozilla reps. So reps are the people who have been with the community for quite some time now and are sort of like the liaison of Mozilla in the local community. So so reps can request for swags, reps can request for funding, etc., for traveling to events and speaking at events and all of that. So what this university did was that they invited a couple of reps. So I'm also one of the Mozilla representatives from the world. So they invited me there, and then so all of the sessions that we do are free because we don't expect to get paid for this. We do this because we love teaching about the web and telling people about the Mozilla mission, right? So after the entire session, they said, "Hey, you know what? We're giving these students a couple of certificates." I said, "Oh, cool. That sounds fair." And then he bought like 200 certificates and asked me to sign on them. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. So after this, I think Mozilla started, there is this online course that you can take on, the platform is called Teachable, if I'm not wrong. Oh yeah. So there is this training stuff here, which I will share with you. This is again a free course. You will have different, you will have different modules for this, and I believe at the end of this, if you complete the teaching modules and the tests, you will get a certificate. So I think that's the closest that we've got to issuing certificates for undergoing a Mozilla course.
All right. That's good. Well understood. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I think Shreyas understand the system because in developing countries, the only way that anyone can affirm your competence is to look at the certificate that you have and see that every time we want to talk about training, somebody want to have something to prove that I went through the training. And that has been concerned. Probably, like you say, you have a heap of certificates when you are looking for jobs, so you can go in for so many of them in different areas. I think every young person today don't want to miss opportunity. If they have the opportunity to have as many certificates as you just said you had that time, they will also be willing. But the teachable link, the link you just gave us now, if someone completes all the modules and gets the certificates, is there any opportunities with Mozilla, or is it just to confirm your skill and you could use the certificate somewhere?
Yeah, so this is another great question that comes up more often than I've been in Mozilla. So one of the things that people ask us while we do sessions or give talks in different places is that is there an opportunity, or is there like an internship or a job that I can do at, can I start contributing now with the hope that Mozilla would hire me in 5 years, right? Or 10 years or X number of years. So yeah, my answer to that has always been I don't know, because to be very honest, I would say no, because of different things, including like local hiring laws. Mozilla is a company that's incorporated in the US, so they will have their own laws from within which they can hire. So if they have to hire a remote employee, they would have to actually have an agency in the country in which they're hiring. And I don't think it is worth the effort unless that person is exceptionally, good, right? So if I'm extremely good at what I'm doing, and if I'm the only one who can do it, then yes, probably I would get hired by Mozilla. But if there are 10 people like me, 20 people like me, like 50 people like me in the world who can do it, and if they are probably from within the US, UK, or Canada, or countries in which Mozilla can hire from, they would rather pick that person, because the choice is very obvious, right? I mean, even if I were running a company, I would do the same. So so that's what I would always say. Don't start contributing with the hope that you will get hired by Mozilla sometime. It's a good hope to have, but think of the larger mission that you're contributing to. Think of the impact that you're creating in the world, and think of the opportunities like this, where you can speak to people from halfway across the world over the internet and make new connections. I think that's the primary reason that drives me to contribute. So yes, to answer your question, the certificates, at least for now, the way we see things going is that, or at least while I was looking out for a job after I graduated, the keyword Mozilla in my resume had a very strong role, because, and I'm sure that would be the case in your sector as well, right? Nobody would, at least not a lot of people would expect dentists or people from the dental professional industry to have a link with Mozilla, right? That would be weird. And then they would start asking you questions. Now that is your chance where you can leverage all that you have learned so far, or all that you will be learning through Mozilla, saying that, okay, now that person is interested in knowing what my connection is with Mozilla, I've got an opportunity to explain myself. And that I think is super important, because I got my first job, although I did not take that one. That is how I got my first job offer, because I told him, I had like a 15-minute long conversation about Mozilla, what I do, and about the Firefox phone and all of that. So yeah, I think it opens new doors, but it's not that the certificate that is issued by Mozilla at this stage is useful for getting a job. Does that sort of explain it?
Yeah.
I think I got your question. I mean, your answer. I think what you have just said is the attention should not be on the certificate, but a lot of other skills that you can acquire that can help you to leverage on the knowledge that you have had during those trainings that are more important than the certificate. Of course, anyone who wants to hire an individual will see other area of skill, apart from the primary skill or certificate he may have, to see how it could be useful also to the corporation. And also understand from what you have just said too, that of course, we call it catchment area in Nigeria. If for example, a university or an institution is located in Lagos, it is more convenient legally and financially for a company to look at Lagos first of all, before looking at states around Lagos, more than looking at maybe Ghana or somewhere very far where a lot of legal system about movement is involved. I understand that, but I'm happy my groups are tech-savvy individuals, and we're interested in leveraging the web, and we're happy meeting you, and we believe that very soon in future we'll be able to begin to see how we can take advantage of the web to actually help oral health in Africa. It's been a nice time.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sounds great. Yeah, I've also enjoyed talking to you also. I hope that we'll continue this conversation in the future as well.
Great.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. I think we'll let you go now.
Sure.
Thanks so
a lot. I had fun.
Yeah. Enjoy your evening and a happy weekend.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Yeah, bye-bye.